Hey YouTube, back with another about the creative industry. Wanted to try one more, this time it's daytime. See a little bit more about where I'm going. Today I want to talk about management. How to manage creative people, how to manage creative jobs. Because that is also changing with the way AI has kind of come about. I've changed the way that I'm managing it, report on it and check on it. But at the core of it, it's still pretty much the same thing. I'll just let some traffic go here before we get going. You know, I'll start off with the basics on how I kind of monitor things, track things, and then I'll explain how I integrate it all together. So, before I start, I should say that, I have been in this industry like 20 years. So, in order to manage creative, you have to understand the creative. You have to understand the people working on it and what they're capable of, and what's ultimately possible, what expert level creative looks like and how long it takes. Those two steps are the most crucial to understanding your team, the job, and getting things done on time, on budget, etc. So before you kind of start anything, you got to have a discussion with everybody involved on any type of work you're going to be, dealing with, and find out how long it's going to take. A completed, finished work to spec. You got to study all the elements, write it all down, time everything. If you have to use a stopwatch, do it. It's better if you do it yourself as an expert. That way you can give that expectation to your team. But there's some things you just may not know, and that's okay. And it just means you got to have a conversation with your team about it. And sit down with them, open the files up, and say, all right, what do we got to do on this? What are all the steps? How long does it take? And then agree on a time. That agreement part is critical because they're expected to meet this demand. So if they don't agree with it, if you don't agree with it, then why the heck is anybody trying to reach that goal? So you lock in the times. Job A takes this much time B. So now you've got the expectation. And you share that with the whole team, and you say, here's what you got to do. Here's how much time you got to do it. And you might say, oh, Alex, but it's a creative process. You don't know how long it's going to take. Well, yeah, you do. Because if you're an expert, you don't have the whole time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world to get this stuff done. You got a deadline. You probably told a client, you've got to deliver this within a week. Well, that means you've got about 1 week to figure this out. And there's a part of that week that's got to be spent doing each part of this step. You got to split it up. So no matter which way you swing it, you've got a timeline and you got to figure it out. So that means you've already agreed upon this job before you even started it. But it's just about allocating the right amount of time to each part of it. The creative part, the execution part, the presentation part. So there's really no excuses. Even an expert can get something done in a certain amount of time. Nothing's impossible. And sometimes you go over budget, and that's okay. And sometimes you do things quicker, and that's okay. It usually balances out. But that's where we get into the next step is tracking all of this. Once you've set the expectation and you've got your team together, you've got to find out what the heck they're doing. And the best way I have come to manage this whole thing is to plan it out. You need a list of all the jobs you're doing, and you need a list of everybody who's going to do it. And you literally write it out for the whole week. Just 1 week at a time, because there's going to be too many things thrown at you in the week. There's going to be rushes, emergencies, sick days, vacation days, priority jobs that sneak in there. Just stick to 1 week. Just that 1 week's got to go according to plan as best possible. So you write out everybody who's going to work that week, and every day write down what they're going to do, because you know the expectation. If you've got 100 images and you've got one guy and he's got a whole week, let's say he can do 40 a day. He does 40 the first day, 40 the second day. By the third day, he needs more work. The only way you can figure that out on a large team with a lot of jobs is to write this all down. So you need a calendar, you need a schedule, and you need to understand the expectation. Then you can find the gaps. You can find who's available, when, where, why, and you can hold people accountable. Joe was supposed to do 40 images today, but he only did 20. What was he doing for the other half of his day? You got to go talk to Joe. You got to go figure out what happened. Was the job harder than expected? Did something else come his way? Did he go for a motorcycle ride for the rest of his afternoon? You got to have that conversation. And the only way you know what Joe's doing is you have to ask him to write it down too. You got to get a report. Somehow, some way, your people have to report to you everything that they're doing. And, you know, the level of which you accept information and demand it is up to you. Some people like micromanaging every detail. Some people like high level. It depends what you're doing and how much you trust your team. But I like a report every day from everybody of all the major tasks they're doing. And I want to know, like, if you're in a meeting for 3 hours, then tell me. And I'll lower your expectation for the day. That makes sense. Now 20 images makes sense out of 40 because you were in a meeting half the day. Something critical came up and you had to train somebody. You just need an answer. It's got to be somewhere. So once you got everybody telling you what they're doing every day, you can see if they're meeting the expectation or not. Then you run into the third problem, and how do you digest all that information? If you've got a team of 10, 20 people, even 4 people working 5 days a week, doing 10 different jobs, you can't just sit there and look at their docs, look at their reports every day. It's boring, first of all. It's not efficient use of time, second of all, and it's just not the best way to do things. And that's where AI comes in. You feed all that information that they just gave you, all the reports. Hopefully you can put it in an area that you like to work in. Maybe it's Excel, maybe it's a database. Hopefully it's not just random emails. But either way, you could put all that information together, put it into an AI program like Gemini or Claude or whatever your favorite one is, and ask it, how is the team doing? If Joe is expected to do 40 images, you tell Claude, Joe's expected to do 40 images every day. Here's what he did this week. Did he do a good job? Yes or no? And it can get pretty crazy in minutia because you have to explain to the AI all the possibilities, all the different jobs. But guess what? You did half of that work already up front. You already told Joe what he was expected to do, so now you just got to tell Claude, here's the expectations for everybody, all the jobs, all the times, and here's all the other things that can go wrong. People could be sick, people could have emergencies, things can go sideways. It's all about the level of prompting and planning that you put into the AI. Like I discussed in my last video, it's a dumb tool until you make it intelligent and you tell it what you need. So make it intelligent, tell it what you need, give it the facts, and then let it do the hard work. Oh, this is a nice road. Sorry while I enjoy this curvy road. They call these twisties. Mr. Mustang doesn't want to go too fast here. So yeah, utilize AI to understand if a team is successful or not. And then you hold them accountable. You read your report, and it should tell you that Joe either did a great job or he has some work to do. It'll tell you where his shortfalls are, where he needs to work on. Did he deliver things on time? Did he overachieve? And then you can have that conversation with that team member, and you've got all the data, and say, you know what? You got to work on this area because you reported that this, and this. It's not a guessing game anymore. It's not subjective. It's factual data from the person himself. Here's what you said you did. Here's what you need to work on based off of what you're telling me you're doing. It's hard to argue with that. And so far, the feedback I've gotten by using the system is that people are pretty interested in it. They've never, had this kind of level of analysis before. I'm not getting the sense that people feel like it's unfair. But they know what to work on. It feels clear, and it does feel fair. I think that's the sense I'm getting. It feels fair. I'm not just making shit up on what I think they're doing. It's what they're actually doing. One thing I want to talk about next is, when people are underperforming or overperforming, is like how you hold them accountable. So if Joe is severely underperforming and he doesn't have a good excuse, what do you think you should do with Joe? If he's wasting your time and he doesn't know how to explain it, you've got a liability on your hands. You have somebody abusing their time, abusing the company's money, and that's going to fall back on you as a manager. And in the same sphere, if somebody's overperforming, doing a great job, you have to honor that. You have to talk to that person and say, you know what, you were above and beyond. And when the time comes for, annual reviews and increases and stuff like that, that's the person who's going to get the most bucks and the biggest paycheck, because the data supports it, and he's expecting it too. And it makes for an easy conversation after you've got a whole year of data proving that somebody is better than everybody else. It's really hard to argue against not giving that person a bump and a bonus and rewards of some type. And equally, on the other side, it's very easy to tell somebody, hey, you're on the bottom rung of this entire team. Here's the data that says you're, compared to your peers, you're not in the same level. You're not in the same league. You got a lot of work to do. You obviously wouldn't say it like that, but you could explain to them they got work ahead of them. They're not fitting in. So I think a lot of the problems that stem from managing people is all the things I just talked about. It's not knowing what people are doing, not knowing, expert level expectation from them. And it should be expert level, because if you have the bar so low that everybody's achieving for it, who's going to strive for greatness? The expectation should always be what the best possible level is. That way everybody's got room to grow. You never want to set the bar too low. You want people working as efficient as possible. You got to stay competitive in this industry if you want to survive. And you got to give people regular feedback too. You can't go a whole year with somebody thinking they're doing an amazing job, not getting any feedback when you know something's going south. So you have to set a time period. I like quarterly. I tried monthly, weekly. It's too frequent. There's just not enough data. The conversation gets kind of old. But I find quarterly is a good, minimum right now for me. On how often it is before I should talk to my team about their success. And there's some people that I do monthly if I have less connection with them and less understanding. Maybe they're remote, maybe they're in another country, maybe a different time zone. I connect a little more frequently, like monthly. so you can have a better connection with them when you don't even have one, because you're not talking to them during your workday. They might need a bit more feedback. But if you're working with somebody every day, I think quarterly is pretty good. Let them know how they're doing, what they got to work on, gives them some focus in the year. So yeah, that's managing creative. That's managing people. As far as managing the creative itself, we want to talk about that just a little bit. I think it's similar to just managing people. It's just like clear expectations on a job. What does the job entail? What are the tech specs? What are the creative specs? When's it due? All that's got to be documented and tracked and written somewhere. And that protects you in a couple ways. It gives your team clear guidance, what they got to do, when they got to do it, how to do it. And it protects you if something goes wrong. You can explain to your guys and your girls, hey, that was the job. How come you didn't do the job? Talk to me. Let's find out what's going on. Was it not clear? Was it not written down? Did you not find it? Did you not know where to look? Make it crystal clear and obvious for everybody. Don't leave anything as a guess, an unknown. I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. I think that was a pretty good chat. I think that was some good, valuable advice. I have been managing creative and people for, I don't know, maybe at least 5 years. A good solid 5 years. I think the best managers are the people who've done the work before. Not just somebody with management experience, but work experience. I'm very much a hands-on kind of manager. If I can't do the job myself, how can I expect anybody else to do it? How can I know how hard it's going to be, how long it's going to take? How can I support them? How do I know what information to give them to get it done? I think it's critical. I think it makes the best manager somebody who's come up through the ranks, done it themselves. It's not always possible, but I think you're really limiting yourself if you don't even know the skills that you're managing. And I think it happens a lot. That's where you get these middle managers people complain about who never seem to, people don't really connect with them and understand their own employees. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening, guys. I hope you have a great day. Later.